Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to show you the hurricane stopper. It's a big front rolling through Oklahoma, parts of Texas, where there's been a lot of severe weather overnight. Tornadoes there. That's going to sweep through the Gulf of Mexico and just clip us in the Caribbean. We have another front right here. That brought some rain to St. Kitts and Nevis over toward Montserrat. We've had some rain and some thunderstorms nearby, and an area of rain that is still near Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to focus as well on the Eastern Caribbean. Let me take you around right here. Now, here is what is left of Sara. Thank you for your trust on the hurricane season. As expected, it has fallen apart, but we had 1,000 millimeters of rain, or 40 inches of rain, close to the Bay Islands, just south on the mainland of Honduras. Sara has fallen apart as it moved in. Still some scattered areas of rain, parts of Central America, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico as we go throughout the day, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, looking beautiful through the Dominican Republic, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Now, as we swing back here, though, I am watching the tail end of one front here that kind of clipped us by over toward St. Kitts and Nevis with some of that rain. Been watching Antigua and Barbuda, and then we swing to the south. There's a lot of moisture. I showed you this yesterday. Just off toward the east of us. Some of that is going to nudge our way. In a moment, I'm going to zoom down here. Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, St. Lucia, and Trinidad. Kind of focus in on some of the rain. Let me start with the big picture. Now, I want to show you why this is a hurricane stopper for the Gulf of Mexico, but we still need to watch the Caribbean. Here's that big front right in the middle of the U.S. That is going to move in. It is really the biggest front of the autumn season so far. So let me show it to you, then kind of show you the why behind it, why it is going to cut off the hurricane risk across northern sections. There's that front as we work our way into tomorrow. It's a big time front. With it, since it's such a strong front, there's severe weather with it. Some gusty winds, tornado threat, watching thunderstorms. Look at that rain working through right there. And then that kind of moves its way. Here's Cuba. So by the time we get into Wednesday, that front dips all the way down toward Cuba, even toward parts of Mexico. This is a huge front all the way up toward Canada. We'll focus on Canada in a second, bringing down cooler and stable air. So a different environment overall, a different atmosphere behind this front right across the Gulf of Mexico. So that drier air moving in, that is one of the ingredients to kind of cut off the hurricane season. That's why this one is a stopper. The other thing is it just adds to the wind shear. This is a look at the wind shear. We're going to have a lot of wind shear northern tier as we work our way forward, as we get closer to the winter season. Those are winds way above our head. When you get these big fronts that move by, the winds above our heads can cut off the developing tops of tropical systems. So point being, conditions are not conducive here. There's dry air, there's wind shear, and on top of that, a third ingredient, a third factor, I should say, the water temperatures have definitely cooled in the Gulf of Mexico. We're below 80 degrees Fahrenheit. We're at about 26 degrees Celsius. That is not conducive for development in the Gulf of Mexico. Even if something were to develop in the Caribbean and try to lift north, well, the fronts will most likely rip it apart. I mentioned that wind shear, and it would just kind of dissipate, much like we saw with Sara. Although Sara rolled right into the Yucatan Peninsula, if Sara was going to just lift to the north, it would eventually get ripped apart by these fronts. So this front is a hurricane stopper, northern areas, but still in the Caribbean, water temperatures are warm enough for some development. I'm not seeing big signs of it. The models do hint at a little buildup of moisture in the southern Caribbean. That will be one spot to watch for late November, early December. There could be something not necessarily trying to develop, but just an area to watch. Of course, we just had a Sara that rolled in. Tony, Valerie, William, the next names on the list. Let's hope we don't have any more named storms. So let me take you out on time here, at least in the short term, show you what we're seeing here, and then I'll zoom down into the Southeastern Caribbean. But you see that surge of moisture that is going to be with us. So scattered areas of rain, and of course, still Guatemala, El Salvador. So as we get into the Pacific side, parts of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, still some increased chances of rain today. Northern Caribbean, we are looking so nice, so pleasant. Even back through Belize, things have improved. Now, as we go on time here, this is tomorrow. Here comes that front back toward the Gulf of Mexico. You can see it there. But there's that pocket of rain near Barbados, near Trinidad. We could see some isolated areas of flooding in the southeastern Caribbean, and still with these old fronts nearby, Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, Saba, we may catch a shower over toward the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. This here is by Wednesday, and you see there's that big front moving by, and that cuts off that hurricane threat over toward much of the Gulf of Mexico. That front will bring some additional rain to the Bahamas, parts of Cuba, and it stretches all the way down toward Belize. Now, it's not really going to bring us the Christmas winds for most of us. That'll more likely happen next week, but we will get a little bit cooler in some locations. But watching this area here in the southeastern Caribbean. So let me zoom down here. This is later today. So here's Martinique. We're looking Martinique south through Trinidad. Here's northern Venezuela. Here's Grenada right here. And look at the rain that will be possible. There'll be some batches of it. Now, some of our islands we may stay dry while others are getting dumped on. So spotty areas of flooding will be possible. This is tonight. You see another batch of rain that will be just nearby. So it's not a big blob of rain, kind of a broken area. But you see over toward Tobago, by the time we get into tomorrow, that chance of rain will be on the elevated side. So point being, southeastern sections of the Caribbean, St. Lucia, down through Trinidad, we're going to see some isolated areas of flooding. This is Wednesday afternoon. You could see one of those pockets of rain near Trinidad and Tobago. So staying on the active side, not seeing development out of that, but tracking some of the rain. Now, the Gulf of Mexico, that's where the seas are going to be the highest. That's because of that hurricane stopper or that big front that's moving by. Things, of course, they're going to be higher in the open waters of the Atlantic, but across the Gulf, choppy to dangerous conditions just as that front passes by. This is Wednesday. Not too bad across the Caribbean if you have any interest on the water, but there goes that front as we work our way into Thursday. Behind it, the winds are going to be out of the north. Those swells kind of coming down out of the north, and watching out for those higher seas back into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, here's Bermuda. We get to the north, a big spin up here, another front, and all of this moisture has just kind of been hanging out over toward parts of the Atlantic region of Canada. It's going to stay kind of an aggressive pattern where we see front after front and these spins around. This is by tomorrow, still kind of rotating around Newfoundland, even on the edge of New Brunswick, that chance of rain around, and then watching more of these systems rolling in as well. Another one pushing back toward Quebec. But again, a lot of this action has been lifting up to the north. Wednesday, Newfoundland over toward the Avalon Peninsula, still dealing with some cold rain for many of us. Keep me posted in the comments. Now, as far as the rain goes, Bahamas, Cuba, not a lot. As we get deeper into Wednesday and Thursday with that next front, we'll see some higher totals, but you can see Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, the DR, back through the Turks and Caicos, just some beautiful weather. Then we get here, Anguilla toward Antigua, Barbuda. Tail end of a front right here, so we may get a few totals of 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain, but we swing to the south here, Dominica south. That's where you see this white shading, even that black shading, showing the potential of higher totals. Some of us for 3-day totals will get around 100 millimeters of rain, 4 inches of rain, and that's why I mentioned isolated flooding will be a possibility. Suriname, not as much. Guyana, we could get some scattered showers. Same thing back toward Venezuela. Parts of Venezuela, we've been dealing with some flooding the last few days. Just kind of depends on where the rain sets up, and there are some of those higher totals, especially the Pacific side, 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain. Guatemala, El Salvador, fortunately much of Honduras, mainly on the dry side. Still, ongoing water rescues happening in Honduras. Mexico City to the north, not as much. Here is the rain with the front. Look at that, substantial rain. Some stronger storms can dump several inches of rain with that big time front that is sliding by to the north. So rain chance way down for us in Jamaica. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Same thing, Cayman Islands, maybe a 10% chance of a stray shower, but we swing back toward Trinidad and Tobago. That's where the focus was, with that higher chance of rain, not all day, but a 50 to 60% chance of rain over the next 3 days. We do that again in Barbados, and we do that again as we work our way towards St. Lucia. 60% chance today and a 50% chance tomorrow, and about a 50% chance of some scattered showers. Could see a few thunderstorms mixed in, but mainly scattered showers the next few days in Grenada, and a 60% chance of rain today. Same thing to the Grenadines, and a 50% chance for tomorrow and Wednesday. Rain chance 50% elevated across Martinique. 50 to 60% chance in Dominica. And as we work to the north, still some scattered areas of rain. Could get a couple thunderstorms in Guadeloupe. Rain chance holding at 50%. This here, Antigua, Barbuda, those bigger systems up to the north, just that front kind of draped by. Doesn't really do a whole lot to the temps, but watching out for a chance of some of those spotty showers, kind of hit or miss. St. Kitts and Nevis, we've already had some. Watching over toward Montserrat. Rain chance a little higher today in Anguilla and St. Bart's, 60%, 40% chance for tomorrow. 40 to 50% chance the next couple days. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. Rain chance back through Puerto Rico. Not high, beautiful. Mainly on the dry side. Rain chance about 20% tomorrow, and mainly dry back through the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Stray chance of a shower. Same thing in the Bahamas. We're looking good. Just waiting on that front that'll roll in Wednesday night into Thursday. Turks and Caicos, not much action, and we're drier across the Dominican Republic. Drier as we get back toward Haiti. 5, maybe 10% chance of a shower over the next few days in Haiti. Belize, our rain chance has gone down. It'll start to bump up some as we work our way into Wednesday. 20% chance at Aruba the next couple days. 20 to 30% chance as we get toward Curacao and Bonaire. Then we get back toward Guyana. We'll see some scattered areas of rain today. About a 50% chance. Not as much in Suriname. Rain chance pretty low. 20% chance. Cuba, we're looking good. Rain chance will bump up with that front moving by on Wednesday, moving in from the west, pushing off to the east. Costa Rica, Panama, we're still watching out for some areas of flooding. 20 to 30% chance of rain in Nicaragua, up to a 50% chance on Wednesday. 20% chance the next couple of days in Honduras. That got hit so hard by Tropical Storm Sara with that flooding. Guatemala and El Salvador, watching out for the flooding. I was talking about those totals earlier, monitoring that. Mexico City, rain chance will start to bump up some. About a 50% chance of scattered showers with kind of the remnants, the leftovers of Sara nearby today. Northern Colombia, rain chance 30%. 40% chance in Venezuela, but where we get it, it could be heavy. I mentioned the possibility of some additional flooding in parts of Venezuela, and rain chance stays on the minimal side back through Bermuda. So, Tropical Storm Sara fell apart. That is done with. Big front in the Gulf of Mexico. That is going to cut off the hurricane season, which is great. Northern sections back through the Gulf of Mexico. Eastern Caribbean, though, we're watching out for some of that increased rain, and I'll monitor the Southern Caribbean for some signs of development later this month. So thank you for being part of this weather community. Have a great day ahead.